Okay, next step is prominently featured sponsors. So this one's pretty simple and pretty straightforward too. If you're running a podcast where part of your revenue, or maybe a lot of your revenue, comes from having sponsors, then it would stand to reason that giving them as valuable of an experience where you can drive as much business to them as possible is going to be a very good thing for you and for them. And so what I suggest for that is beyond just the obvious talking about your sponsors in your individual episodes, which you should do, of course. There are a few things you can do on your website too to add further value. And so one of them, you can use Canva, which is just canva.com. It's kind of like Photoshop for people who don't know how to use Photoshop. It's pretty nice. Without any technical experience, you can create some really fancy images. Use that, create nice images that you can feature on different areas of your site. So the areas I recommend are your sidebar, which is pretty obvious, but also very easy to ignore things in. And then the top and bottom of the content for individual episodes. And additionally, giving them like just a text shout out when you're in the show notes for the episode, if you do show notes. And if you can do it in all those different areas, that'll drive further engagement for your sponsors. And one way you can track this is if you use the Pretty Links plugin, which looks like this in the WordPress directory. What you can do is you can create redirects. So you see I have one here for lead pages that redirects to my drip URL, so I can track clicks and stuff. You can add a new Pretty Link for your sponsors. So like, let's say that you want to have these 3 different areas: the sidebar, top of the post, bottom of the post, and let's actually say you do a 4th area, which is that text shout out. What you could do is you could call this one, let's pretend your sponsor is, let's say your sponsor is Lead Pages. So you could say Lead Pages Sidebar is what you could call it. And then you configure all these other things to match. So the target URL would just be like http://leadpages.com or whatever your affiliate link is. But then you can have your quote pretty link, which is your shortened redirect link. For these ones, it probably doesn't matter that much what this is, because you're going to be manually hooking up the link. You're not actually listing this URL off on your podcast episodes. For the ones on your podcast episodes, it should be something easy, like geteminence.com/leadpages. That's easy for people to spell. I already have this one created, so I won't make it. But yeah, you can do this and create different areas for each. So if you want to make it easy and not ugly, you might call it Lead Pages Sidebar, since this is the one in the sidebar. And you can create one for the sidebar, one for the top of the content, one for the bottom of the content, one for that text call out, and then a separate one for actually talking about in your episode. And then when you go to your main Pretty Links dashboard, after you've hooked up all these links, you can see the amount of clicks for each. So you can either go the simple route and just create one for Lead Pages in general. And then you'll be able to go to Lead Pages at the end of the month and say, hey, I sent you 800 clicks or 8,000 clicks or whatever this month. And it's just a way to add value to them, and it'll help them with their own data, and it just shows that you're on the ball and you're looking out for them. Or you could do the thing I just mentioned, and you can get personal information about where your website visitors are engaging the most. If you notice that the one in the sidebar has twice as many clicks as the one at the top of the post, then you know that's a better place for that ad. So that's really all there is to it. I'll see you in the next step.